Entertainment Soldier here, and I am back to talk about Star Trek Strange New Worlds, Season 3, Episode 1, and my thoughts on this episode. Well, we are back. We are back from a very, very long break from Strange New Worlds. And have I been counting the days? Have I been missing this show? No, I just realised it came out about an hour ago, only because I saw that there was a review for Season 3. So I only just realised the show had come out. So I decided, well, might as well watch it. It's been a minute since I've seen any Star Trek for a bit, so yeah, I thought let's put this on and hope to God Strange New Worlds isn't shit. And I can say I thought this episode was okay. Now, there are problems. Again, this is Kurtzman Trek. This is still, shit Star Trek. But Strange New Worlds has a tendency to sometimes throw out a golden nugget. It does. Listen. This episode has tons of problems. I mean, there's a scene that's fucking ridiculous and does go against Star Trek lore, especially when it comes to ships hitting ships. And that was completely ridiculous how this show handled that. I will get into that into the spoiler section. And obviously Spock. Yeah, honestly, I have been wondering this for fucking years. What do these writers have against Spock? They are literally every season, it seems to be a fucking mission for them to make Spock look either stupid or make him look like a woman. I don't know what these people's problem is with Spock, but it is definitely there. And this episode, there is a scene where Spock looks like a bitch, which is annoying. And another problem is the whole Gorn storyline. Now, I get it, in this episode, they do try to explain how the Gorn just disappear. But it is a very, very, very weak cover, or at least way of fixing the Gorn storyline. I get what they're trying to do, but it just doesn't work. There's too much information. There's too much of a reason for the Federation to know about the Gorn, and this way of them dealing with it to explain away the whole, the Enterprise and Kirk not knowing who the fuck the Gorn are. It's not good enough. It isn't. But, as I said, I liked this episode. It's an okay episode. So there are good things. The acting is better. I will say that. Listen, Spock aside, the rest of the cast are pretty good. Okay, they are pretty good. I enjoyed the storylines of La'an, Uhura. I even like Pike in this episode. And, listen, there are good things in this episode. I enjoyed how, Pike, took control of the situation. I liked how he was, thinking of his options. I enjoyed how he played off the other characters. La'an dealing with PTSD, with the Gorn. I thought it was really good. I also enjoyed the Gorn part of the story for what it was. I still don't like the fact that Gorn have this much, story presence. They shouldn't be here. The Gorn should not be, this full on in the Federation's business and shit. But for what it was, for the story that they were trying to tell, I enjoyed the Gorn storyline. I even enjoyed the CGI effects of the Gorn in this episode. Okay, weren't great, but again, it wasn't terrible. And, CGI as well in this episode was good. I enjoy the fact that in Strange New Worlds, they tend to actually have space battles, which is something that Star Trek has just completely forgot about. We've had how long has fucking Kurtzman been in fucking charge? And we barely get space battles, and it's fucking annoying. But Strange New Worlds seems to be able to at least do a couple of them. They're not as good as the originals. They're not as good as the 90 series or the movie battles, but at least they're there. Unlike in fucking the first 2 seasons of Picard, fucking Lower Decks, and obviously Discovery. It is at least good that you can see they're trying. You can see that these writers don't know what they're doing with space battles, because, it's kind of a bit all over the place, especially when it comes to them pointing out, shields at this percent, shields at that percent. It's like, okay, you calm down. Okay, you were at fucking 80 at 1 second, now you're at 20. That needs to match up. In Star Trek, real Star Trek, it made more sense why the shields would go down so fast, and they don't really explain it in this episode, which is kind of annoying. But look, they at least try. I am giving them credit for trying. But I do want to mention one thing, and it's not about the episode. It is about the fact that I was fucking right. Oh, it's so good to be proven right. I can't believe that they announced this, and I was going to do a video on it, but I kind of thought, nah, it's not really video worthy. But Star Trek Strange New Worlds is ending next season. Oh, would you look at that? I said this shit would happen. I said it. As soon as fucking Lower Decks got cancelled, as soon as Discovery was getting canned, Strange New Worlds time was numbered. Now, Strange New Worlds is the best out of New Trek, in my opinion, other than Picard Season 3, which is, a miracle that got made. But if you take away Picard Season 3, Strange New Worlds is the best out of the shit. So, it is kind of funny that the best out of the shit is going to be the one that gets the least amounts of seasons. Now, I understand why they're not going to end it after season 3. They've got too much to kind of wrap up. They've got to hand over the ship to Kirk. We have to see Pike go into the chair. I get that. But, you could have just done a bunch of reshoots in season 3 and just ended it here. I get some people are going to say, what do you mean? I thought you liked the show. Listen, I think it's an okay Star Trek show. It's not fantastic. It has massive amounts of problems. The way they treat Spock through this entire show is a fucking insult to Star Trek fans. And if I'm being honest, I don't think Strange New Worlds is going to finish strong. Okay? I don't have that much confidence in the writers, the directors, or in New Trek personally. Okay? I think the show's fine, but I just think you should have just ended it at season 3 and just let it be done. But who knows? Maybe I will be proven wrong and season 4 will be fantastic and coming off of a fantastic season 3. Who knows? Who fucking knows? But yeah. So let's get into my scores now of the episode. I think the episode was okay. I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10. Listen, it's not perfect. There are a lot of problems. The Spock thing I still can't get over. They really need to let that shit go on, trying to make Spock this little, touchy-feely bitch. Because that is just not Spock. And they have got to do massive rethinks of what they're going to do in season 4 with Spock. Because Spock has got to be the Spock in the originals, the, you know, super focused, emotionally dead sometimes character. I know people are going to say he's not emotionally dead. I know, but come on. He isn't this emotional. This guy playing Spock now, whatever the fuck his name is, he plays Spock like shit. He plays him like a fucking child who has realised there are such things called emotions out there. And it just was never Spock. Like, he could control them, but, you know, the worst part of his emotions was they would control, and that's why he was scared of them. And, you know, I also don't like the whole story between Spock and his wife, or his fiance, whatever. That whole storyline is still pretty stupid in my opinion. But yeah, listen, it's a 5 out of 10 from me. Let's get into spoilers now. If you don't want to hear spoilers, leave in 3, 2, 1. Okay, so the episode starts off with a little, you know, catch up of what happened. You know, the whole situation with the Gorn, you know, encroaching outside of Federation space, kidnapping some colonists, also kidnapping, you know, the away team, the Doctor, La'an, Kirk's brother, forgot his fucking name, and Ortiz. You know, them getting kidnapped by the Gorn, and Pike being in the shit situation of being attacked by hundreds of Gorn ships and trying to figure out what the fuck do we do now. So we get the recap. The episode starts with Pike, you know, shitting himself at the beginning, not knowing what to do. Then he goes around the crew and says, anybody got a plan? Now I know some people are going to say, isn't that bad leadership? But no. I like this. You know, Pike's in a difficult situation. He's got Gorn all over him. He needs a plan to get the fuck out of this situation, and also try to rescue the colonists and his away team. So he goes around the ship. He asks his number one. She says, yeah, we ain't got really much, you know, options here. We can stay and fight, but if we do, we're going to die. Or we could run, but that means we've got to leave the crew abandoned, and we might not be able to find them again. So the comms officer, the Asian chick, I have no fucking idea what her name is, tells Pike, hold on, was it the Asian chick or was it Uhura? I don't know. One of them two came up with the idea of somehow sending a transmitter to the main Gorn ship, so they can keep a tracker on that transmitter and be able to come back and rescue the away team and the colonists. Oh, that's what happened. Uhura came up with the idea of the tracker, and Pike asks, how do they get a tracker on the Gorn ship? And the Asian comms woman says they can fire a fake torpedo at the Gorn ship so they can't detect it as a transmitter. They'll fire a real torpedo as well, and they'll fire a dummy torpedo that's got the transmitter in it. So that's the plan. So they're going to abandon the way team but come back and rescue them later, and leave a tracker on the Gorn ship so they can find them. Now, we get a little bit of a space battle here, which I kind of liked. Listen, it could have been better. A bit more firing from the Enterprise would have been interesting. But what pisses me off about this scene is they have to get through the Gorn shield so the torpedoes can hit the main ship and put the tracker on. So they have to go through the Gorn shields. Now, my problem with this scene is their plan is to ram the Gorn ship whilst their shields are at 20%, because they're getting battered by the Gorn's fighters. So they bash through the shields and then whack, go right into the Gorn ship, and this just gets played off as it's nothing. The ship gets a little bit bouncy and just plunges a bit into it, and then just cruises out. Well, the saucer section hits and then slices a bit through, and then they just go off like nothing happened. This is not how ramming works. If a fucking ship rams another ship, your shields are not only gone, your ship is now impaled into that other ship. So this didn't make any sense why their shield would still be up. I mean, if you're going to do this stupid scene, and it is a stupid scene, I'm sorry, then make it, look like they actually had to do major damage to themselves when they rammed. Because they ram it and it come off clean. That would never happen in a Star Trek fight like that. We have seen starships ram other starships. We've seen the Dominion do it to the fucking Klingons. We saw fucking Picard do it to his fucking clone self when the Enterprise went into the Predator and boom! I'm not saying you needed to have that much of an epic scene, but you need to show damage here. And the fact the Enterprise's shields would go down. And by the way, in the scene before, Una literally says impacting the fucking Gorn ship will do major damage to the Enterprise, and Pike says we'll have to chance it. It's like, what the fuck, Pike? And writers, if you're going to put a line like that in your fucking episode, how about show the damage? I know it's a little thing and probably shouldn't go on about it, but seriously, you need to connect the scenes, writers. You need to not make it look like utter shit. But anyway, that's my rant over. So the Enterprise hits the Gorn ship, shield's still up by the way, and rams it, crushes through a little bit of it, fires 2 torpedoes, and then warps out of there to meet up with the Federation's fleet that they've sent to help with the Gorn. At least that's what Pike thinks is happening. So yeah, that's what happened. We then get the credit scene. We then go onto the Gorn ship where we see what happened to the away team. They are now in some sort of cocoons, and La'an escapes hers and then rescues the others. She finds, what's her name again? Ortiz, and turns out her hand has been like melted because she was getting covered in Gorg acid in the pouch thing. So yeah, her hand's all fucked up and she starts panicking. The doctor comes over, checks it out and says, yeah, I'll be able to fix that back on the Enterprise. And then La'an tells the away team they need to figure out a plan to try to save the colonists and escape the ship. And then Kirk's brother kind of tells them, yeah, we're not going to be able to save everybody right now because it took ages for you to get us 4 out, and yeah, it's going to take way too long to get the hundreds of settlers. So, not settlers, what are they called? Colonists, that's it. So, La'an says we'll have to find a ship and head to the shuttle bay of a Gorn ship. She then starts getting flashbacks of, her time with the Gorn, how she lost her brother, starts to really impact her. The doctor kind of tries to calm her down and say, listen, you're not there anymore, you're here, calm down and help us escape. I mean, I did kind of say this when I was watching this, like, probably shouldn't remind her that she's in the same shit situation she was with her brother. Maybe say, think of a different place. Think of, like, I don't know, a fucking sandy beach or a fucking, I don't know, a nice warm bath or something. I don't fucking know. Just don't tell her to think about where she is right now. Tell her to try to calm her head down or something. That's what I would have done. But somehow this works. La'an's able to kind of calm down and come up with the plan again. And yeah, they're going to head to the shuttle bay, steal a Gorn ship and try to get back to the Enterprise. We then go back to the Enterprise, arriving at the star base to meet up with the Federation fleet, where he goes to talk to the Admiral, and the Admiral is like, yeah, we're not going to do anything about the Gorn. And Pike is like, what the fuck are you talking about? And the Admiral says, listen, we're still recovering from the shit war with the Klingons. By the way, still the worst fucking war in Star Trek TV history. The worst written... I'm not going to go into rant about that. But anyway, they're still recovering. They've got a bunch of new worlds in the Federation now. How they did that is fucking a joke at this point. Since they lost... They technically lost to the Klingons in that war. I am still never going to get over how badly Discovery handled that fucking war. Jesus, those stupid bastards. Anyway, there was the Admiral doesn't want to risk a war, or the Federation doesn't want to risk a war with the Gorn. So they're going to let the Gorn do what they want outside of Federation space. And Pike just tells them, this is what the Gorn want. They want you to let them get away with things because they're going to then start pushing it. They're then going to start attacking Federation worlds. They're then going to start moving the line that they've apparently agreed with the Federation, the no-go line for the Federation, and they're going to try to move it. And by the time the Federation realises you can't capitulate to the Gorn, it will be too late. So the Admiral kind of realises that Pike is right and tells Pike, okay, how do we make them not look at us as prey but as fighters, basically. And then the scene goes back to the Enterprise where we meet back up with Christina and Spock, who are trying to help Pike's girlfriend or fiance or whatever the fuck she is, because she got infected by Gorn babies. And if you remember from last season, that is a horrible fate, because those babies come out hungry and they get to eating as soon as they as soon as they're born. So, yes, they're trying to figure out how to save Pike's girlfriend's life before she ends up as a fucking all-you-can-eat buffet to the babies. So, they first try to, first, Christina has a little panic attack moment. Oh my god, I can't do this. Oh my god, I'm not as good as the Doctor who's on the Gorn ship. How do I do this? And then she calms herself down and realises she's the only fucking hope of Pike's girlfriend. And they have a little chat with each other. You know, the whole, you're strong, no, you're strong. Basically, these two women talking to each other. It was kind of dumb. You know, I get it. She's trying to, you know, calm her down and say it's going to be alright, and Pike's girlfriend is trying to do the same for Christina because she can see that she's terrified and unsure of herself. But yeah, can we just get on with it? You have got babies inside you that want to eat you and kill you. Let's focus on the shit situation we're in and maybe try to save your life. That's what I probably would have said to Christina. But then Spock comes in, and this is probably the worst part of the episode for me. And yes, some people are going to say, no, it's only a little thing. Oh, stop being childish. Spock wants to talk about their relationship and the fact that Christina is going away to do a whole training mission with some scientist doctor people. I don't fucking remember what it was. But she's going to go away for like 6 months, and Spock doesn't know if their relationship is going to be able to make the distance. Let's just say that. He doesn't know if they can be have a long distance relationship. And it is a really shit scene for Spock, because he just ends up looking like the woman of the two. Like, I don't know how I'm going to cope without you. Are we going to be able to be together? I mean, it's just, Jesus Christ, man. Grow the fuck up. Yeah, she wants to go off and get a fucking career somewhere else. Shit happens, dude. My God, you're a fucking Vulcan. Jesus. My God. Why are you acting like such a bitch? Like, I get it. You really love this girl. I mean, when you watch the original series, I mean, this is pretty much, you know, not the same fucking thing as it was in the fucking original series, because that was, like, different. This is, like, full on, like, crazy. Like, he's acting like an ex-girlfriend. That's how bad it is. Like, Jesus Christ, Spock, calm the fuck down. God. But yeah, it's just, again, I don't know why the writers hate Spock so much. I get it, these arseholes want to be like, oh, I can make Spock look like he has feelings and maybe still keep his unemotional side. You're doing a terrible job, writers. You can't do it. You've been trying for 3 fucking seasons and you still can't do it. Let's just end it here. Just put Spock back to the way he used to be. You know, the one we liked. But anyway, so Spock goes down to help Christina. They go through their relationship bullshit. They figure out that Pike's girlfriend's body cannot do it on her own. They need to put some like alien blood in her to give her human body some help. So they go to Una's blood and put some, superhuman blood into her so she can, fight the Gorn virus, basically. And it works for a bit, but it's not good enough. So they have to come up with a different way that's going to stop Pike's girlfriend dying. So there you go. We then go to Pike going back to see a new character and new member of the crew, Scotty. Yes, if you remember from last season, they finally introduced Scotty to the crew. And yeah, he is really Scottish. Like, really Scottish. I don't know what it is of you Americans to make us Brits, if we're English, if we're Scottish. You make us like really English or really Scottish. And I'm just going to say this to you Americans. Like, we are normal people. We do not all sound like a fucking posh cunt or a Scottish crazy person. We all don't say, cheerio or hello governor. When I say that Scott sounds like really Scottish, it's just, like some mannerism, some words he says. Like, if you've been to Scotland, if you know Scottish people, they sound normal. They don't sound over the top like in some American films. Again, I'm just saying, you go over the top, Americans, you really do. We are normal people. We sound normal. We're not insane. I'm not saying Scottish sounds insane. It's just, again, if you're a British person watching how you Americans write us, it is kind of over the top. That's just a little criticism from me, and that's it. Anyway, so yeah, we introduced Scotty, and it turns out that he used to be a pupil of, who do you know? Pilia. The head of engineering, the immortal bitch. Yeah, he used to be her pupil. They have a, kind of weird relationship, let's just say. Like, bad student, bad teacher, all that shit. So, yeah. He gets brought on the Enterprise to create a device that was able to hide him from the Gorn, so they can hide the Enterprise from the Gorn when they go back into Gorn space, or at least the area the Gorn have taken over outside of the Federation space. He can't remember how he made the device, because when he was making the device, he did it when he was panicked, so he didn't keep records, and Pelia kind of reminds him that that's why they teach you to keep, notes even in the worst situations, so when it comes down to it, you can then look back on those notes and do the same thing again. So he just says, we can't remember. Then she comes running in pretending that the ship's about to blow up, and that apparently scares the shit out of Scotty enough to make him remember how to make the device, and yeah, it works. And then he gets pissed off at Pelia, and she just says, well, look, you can't really do things if you ain't got a phaser pointing to your head, so why don't we just focus on the mission right now and sort you out later, basically. So, yeah, they make a device, they shield the ship from the Gorn, they head into Gorn space, the Gorn ships come close to the Enterprise, but it turns out the device works, and they're able to fly through the Gorn's ships without them seeing them. We go back to the Gorn ship, where Alar that Lana and the away team are moving through. They're able to find some phases so they can fight off the Gorn if they need to. La'an has another panic attack. Doctor deals with her again. They then were able to find like this living computer thing. They're able to get it to work. And this is how they figure out they have a way of sending a signal to the Enterprise to give them the exact coordinates of the colonists so they can get them off the Gorn ship and back to safety. So they get a device, they run off to what the fuck is it called again? Hangar Bay, that's it. But before they can get there, they're then attacked by a shit out of Gorn, and they use their phasers, and what's her name again? Sorry. Ortiz gets, she saves La'an from a Gorn that runs up behind her. She then gets, Ortiz gets stabbed in the chest and then gets thrown on the floor, but La'an gets the phaser right up to the Gorn's head and blows his head off, and they run towards the ship again, but Ortiz is in really bad shape at this point. Back on the Enterprise, they're still flying through Gorn space, where they then see a Gorn ship flying in between two suns, and apparently they use this sun to get back to their space. So this is apparently a transporter device for the Gorn that turns, well, at first they thought they turned their ships invisible, but then they realised, no, this is a transporter. It transports their ships back to where they came from, and they use it to go back and forth somehow. So Pike is really interested in this. Uhura also finds out that the Gorn also aren't attacking in certain time frames, as she's been tracking them. And it turns out that they have a hibernation period, and when they have a hibernation period, they come back to this point and go back to their territory, apparently. So yeah, so the Enterprise heads off in that direction, because that's also where the Gorn ship is with the away team and the colonists. And then whilst they're heading there, they then realise, holy shit, there's a large armada of Gorn ships heading into Federation space, and this fleet is going to wipe out a bunch of Federation planets near the neutral zone point. And Pike knows he has to warn the Federation about this attack so they can send the fleet in to defend the Federation planets, but they can't send it whilst their ship has the, I'm going to call it the Gorn cloaking device on it from Scotty. And if they take it off, they're going to be pretty much wiped out. So they have a decision to make. Do they warp out of there, or at least try to get far enough away from the Gorn fleet so they can send a signal to the Federation fleet to get the Armada moving? Or do they continue to the Gorn ship to save their crewmen? Pike understands that there is no choice. He has to warn the Federation, but Pike still thinks he has a different plan that could help him do both: save the away team, the colonists, and warn and save the Federation, basically. So they head to between the two suns, where they're going to try to activate the two suns and activate the Gorn's transporter device. I think that's what their plan was. And but they have to decloak so they can give the Gorns a target, so they can rush back and try to kill them, basically. So they get between the planets, deactivate the Gorn cloaking device. The Gorn then attack. The ship is getting pulverized with weapons fire and also radiation from the two suns, which is pretty dangerous for the Enterprise because that could wipe out the entire crew, the radiation, if it gets to a certain level. Whilst this is all going on, La'an and the away team managed to get to a Gorn fighter. You did get a chase scene through a Gorn ship. By the way, I do like the inner design of the Gorn ship. I think it looks like what a Gorn ship would look like, you know, lizard-like, like with living equipment. You know, I thought that looked really interesting. I'll give them credit for that as well. So yeah, they have a chase scene with the Gorn fighters. They get out of the Gorn ship. La'an sends a signal to the Enterprise telling them the location of the colonists and also the away team. The Enterprise then uses all the ship's power to activate the Gorn transporter device, which works. It sucks in all the Gorn ships and sends them back home, and then apparently the Enterprise is able to close the device, and that is how they explain the disappearance of the Gorn. That's their explanation of why Kirk would not know who the fuck the Gorn is when he bumps into them. Now, I appreciate the writers have at least tried. I'm giving them credit for at least trying to fix a problem that they created. But listen, this is a shit explanation. Because one, the Gorn attacked the Federation and nearly started a fucking war with them. Two, the fucking Federation would know so much about the Gorn now. They would know how their internals look like. They know how their ships look like. They even know what the fucking Gorn look like at this point. And you're telling me Scotty, Uhura, Spock didn't tell Kirk, oh, you know that ship we're chasing, Kirk? The one that destroyed that fucking colony that called themselves the Gorn. Oh, we fought them already, and we know a shitload about them, and not just about them, but we know how they work, how they fight. Like, Jesus fucking Christ! What the fuck? This does not explain away that. So if you wanted to have them have a memory wipe, or I don't fucking know, that Section 31 came and said, hey, you four need to forget everything you saw. Like, you need to have your brains wiped. That would at least be a better explanation than this. Okay? Because this is dog shit. I like that they tried, but it just wasn't good enough in my opinion. But yeah, the Federation saved. Oh, and I completely forgot, Spock and Christina were able to save Pike's girlfriend. And the way they did that was basically, Spock comes up with the idea of, well, you know the babies come out hungry and needing to feed. Why don't we just feed the babies before they hatch, so they have no reason to break out of the eggs and eat Pike's girlfriend? And apparently that works, and they're able to remove the eggs through surgery, and yeah. That's how Pike's girlfriend survives. They just fed the babies and removed them later. And Pike gets a thank you from the Admiral about saving the Federation, and the disappearance of the Gorn is just explained away as like, yeah, it's great, thank you, goodbye, basically. And the last scene is basically Pike going to see his girlfriend and having a little prayer. Now, I will not normally say this, but this is Star Trek, and Gene Roddenberry did not want religion in it. You know, he was a very known atheist. So, listen, I believe in God, I'm Catholic, all that good stuff, but this is Star Trek. Human religions are not supposed to be mentioned because humanity was supposed to move past that. Like, this is a bit, I'm not saying it's over the top. It was just Pike saying a little prayer. I got no problem with that. But again, this is Gene Roddenberry's universe. He did not want religion in it. And you have to respect that guy's wishes. So for me, it's not a massive issue, but it is an issue. Okay, I don't want Pike being a religious person. He should be a scientist. He is a Federation captain. So I get it. His girlfriend might have died. He's saying a little prayer. But again, this is Star Trek. There is no place for religion in it. If it was an alien religion, fine. But it shouldn't be an Earth religion. That's all I'm going to say on that. But yeah, Pike's girlfriend survives. They have a little hug together. And yeah, he just says how he loves her. And they get together, back together again. And they're all happy. And that's how the episode ends. It's a 5 out of 10. It's an okay episode. There are a lot of problems. But again, I enjoyed it for what it was. So, yeah. I do know there's a second episode, but I'll probably watch that tomorrow. I'm not really in the mood to watch any more Star Trek today. But, yeah, that's the end of my review. If you like this review, give it a like. If you dislike this review, give it a dislike. And if you have a comment, leave it below and I'll try to get back to it. And if you like my content, do think of subscribing. Entertainment Soldier. Bye.